So I guess Nick Fuentes has another video of himself going viral. Apparently he's on another racist tangent. So let's see what he got for the crew today. I don't know what the damn tweet say. It say, social media influencer Nick Fuentes demands brutal honesty with regards to much of the commonly accepted African American behavior. He describes to his black audience the impression the world has of them and why. It's difficult for anyone to disagree with his take. All right, let's do it.
It's a shame. I really do believe, look, I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative. Most people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane. And, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a black table and the black people don't tip and they're fucking rude. Like that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. That people don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. And you equate that with danger. And it doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want black people to take accountability and say, look, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. That's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive and I'm in fear for my life, I have a problem with all of that. And people go, and these black people go, well, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior. If black people were super well behaved, we would be racist in the other direction. We'd say, black people, oh, yes, dude, yes. My day is about to turn around for the better. What can I help you with, sir? Please come right on in. Man, what a relief to see you here. You're a sight for sore eyes. If black people were known for being the best, then we would be racist in the other direction. Oh, finally. So yeah, that really bothers me. It just bothers me in this damn ass city, because that's all it is in Chicago, is just these black people who can never take accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
I was curious about his own interactions with black folks to have such a generalization of black folks. I mean, like, how many ghetto black folks are you running into that act that way? I mean, but he answered the question if he's living in Chicago, because there are certain parts of Chicago where there's nothing but that type of shit around. Well, at least that's what I heard. That's the narrative. You feel me? I ain't been in Chicago around all that. I ain't been in Chirac, but then it's like there's good pockets of Chicago too. So like, what you doing in Chirac? But anyway, that makes sense if that's all his interactions with black folks in Chicago. But even with that, it's like I'm curious of the genuineness behind this video because Nick Fuentes has to be smart enough to know that all black folks don't act that way, right? That's just the narrative. That's the image the media wants to depict black people as to perpetuate this divisiveness. But he has to know that, man. So, and he has to know that that's going to be the response from black folks to a video like this. When you generalize all black folks as ghetto, loud, aggressive, you feel me? That's just entirely inaccurate. You know, but with that, I'm in agreement with a lot of things that he says outside of the generalization of black folk, because your boy got some ghetto fatigue. I mean, that's all it sounds like this is, just ghetto fatigue, or no, not ghetto fatigue, black fatigue. That's all this sounds like is black fatigue. He's saying black fatigue, bro, but that is a certain pocket of black folks. You know, motherfucker like me, I don't take offense to it, bro, because I'm not that type of black person he's describing, nor does any of the black people I surround myself with act that way. And there's a whole demographic of black folks out here that do not align with the ghetto hood booger type shit that comes out of the black community, bro. But what you're describing, sir, is black culture, right? You feel me? And I agree with everything he says outside of just brushing all black folks like that, because that's just absolutely false. And the majority of black folk are not going to be rational enough. I mean, majority of people, period, not going to be rational enough to not take offense by what he's saying because he's not talking about you. You know, I would be curious how Nick Fuentes would interact with someone like me or whomever else that's black that does not portray the ghetto black image and like to, you know, see how he respond. I would wonder what he's thinking like this when he sees black folk. Every black person he sees, he immediately associates that image towards. That's dangerous. It's no different from women out here brushing all men as grapists and misogynists and sexist and all this shit, or, you know, violent or whatnot, man, because of whatever interaction they've had with the few men that have represented men the absolute worst way. But that often happens, though. You have an interaction with a few of a group, and now you automatically associate all men as, you know, demonic grapists because you run into a few bad apples. But that would just be stupid to sit here and label every man out here a rapist. But that's what they do, and that's exactly what Nick Fuentes is doing right now. You can't do that, bro. You can't do that. You know what I mean? But I know he's not the only one that feels this way. There's a lot of motherfuckers that feel this way, man. And you got to use some logic. You got to use your logic. You got to use your fucking brain to know that all black folks don't act like that. The majority of black folks don't act like that. It's just the obnoxious, degenerate, loud shit you see that is meant to get your attention to force you to view black people that way. You know, it's no different than viewing LGBTQ a certain way, or viewing white people a certain way, or viewing Mexican people a certain way. The media depicts certain groups as the worst stereotypes of these groups to have people stereotyping groups this way, bro. When it's not the case. You know, it just sucks, bro. It sucks, dog. You know what I mean? Being black and knowing that narrative is out there, bro. Being black, having that fucking narrative about black folks, dog. I hate that shit. I absolutely hate that shit, bro. It does us such a fucking disservice, man. You know what I'm saying? It keeps us held down, and that keeps us held down more than anything compared to all these other things that black folks typically cry victim about that's keeping them down, like the man keeping me down, redlining keeping me down, racism keeping me down. You know what I mean? When, 9 times out of 10, black folks don't have no way to prove any of these things that they claiming, right? But you know damn well this narrative, how black people are seen, right? Of how certain black people act is doing the most disservice to the black community more than anything, bro. If all black folks took it upon themselves to represent the black community in a positive way, bro, we could fucking fix this shit, bro. You know what I mean? Fucking fix this shit, dog. But it's layers to it. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely layers to it, dog. You got the man, you got the machine, you got the elites out here playing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Puppeteering this shit to make black people look a fucking certain way, dog. But at the end of the day, if every motherfucker out here that is black represented themselves the way they want the black community to be seen, to be respected, to be revered, to be, looked up to, as we should, that would fix so much with the fucking black community where we wouldn't have no Nick Fuentes or anybody else out here saying some bullshit unless they were really fucking racist, dog. And then with that, what I would allow us to see who the real racists are. You know what I mean? Like if you black and you out here talking the right way, walking the right way, looking the right way, got money, financially literate, know how to speak, you know what I mean, confident, have decorum, have etiquette, respectful, considerate, just knowing how to be a law-abiding citizen, dog. We out here running this shit, dog. But nah, man. The government want us to look stupid, want us to look ghetto, want us to look poor, want us to look weak, want us to look like gangsters, want us to be violent, want us to be killers and shit, man. Right? I mean, I'm talking about Chicago, bro. How many fucking Chicagos are there in America, bro? You know what I mean? Just certain pockets of the world, certain pockets of America that's fucked up. Majority of black folks out here just working, trying to earn a living, dog. They ain't worried about shit else, bro. But that narrative definitely, that narrative definitely is a motherfucker, man. So, yeah, I hate it. Right. Yeah, but to sum it up, I know I'm long-winded, bro, but to sum it up, dog, it's a lot of right with what he said about certain black folks in the black community, bro. But, he wrong as fuck by sitting here generalizing all black folks that way. But as a black person, if you take offense to that, knowing that you are not who he's speaking to, just know he's not speaking to you, right? And we need to hold the motherfuckers accountable that are out here making black folks look crazy. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Sexy Reds out here and Meg the Stallions and Cardi B's and you know what I mean, like fucking NBA young boys and the young thugs and right, that shit glorified, dog. Got money behind it, and it's the hip hop, the prison lifeline, dog. It's done that a certain way. Anyway, I ain't mad at it. Dog. Thoughts.